All right. I don't have very many followers live anyway, because the weather broke a little bit. And yeah, there's this. When they let the water level down, it opens up the beach. Little mama and I can walk down to the reserve. There she is. Haha. Mama. Sounds funny when I call her. Her full name is Little Mama. Lil, L-I-L apostrophe Mama. And we used to walk this walk every day. But then it got really cold and the weather has been bad. So we haven't been outdoors much. Yesterday when I woke up, or a couple days ago, it was like less than 10 degrees outside. Very cold. Very cold. I think today it's in the upper 30s, which is good and bad in some senses. We'll have to see what the rest of the week looks like, because I've got to get up this hill, and when it warms up a little bit and then the snow or the ice starts to thaw and then it gets cool at night again, it tends to ice, and that's going to make getting up the hill very challenging. And so I should be working on my trailer right now, but it's been so long since I took Mama for a good walk. I felt a sense of duty to her to get her out here. So I made myself a fresh coffee, put on this jacket that my grandmother gave me, and we're out walking. And it's a beautiful day. Beautiful day. Been hearing the duck hunters out firing off their shotgun shells. Sadly, I've seen many of them don't bother to stop, pick up the casing. See, somebody just popped in. I can't really see the chat well, but if you're popped on, where are you? I'm out here taking a walk on Cayuga Lake. The weather broke a little bit, so I figured I'd get Mama outside. Got 10 people. Hello. Where are you guys? It's NAZYR-MΑSH and Little Mama. We're out here walking. They lowered the level on Cayuga Lake. Still trying to get back to California, but they lowered the water level, which means that we get to walk down the beach to the reserve. Ohio, hey. Ohio, where in Ohio? Cleveland. I like Cleveland. We lost 6 people. We still got 4. Okay, that means there's 3 other people that I don't know where you guys are. Where are you at? Nine people. Hey. All right. Anybody want to shout out where they are? We're walking down next to Cayuga Lake. Me and Little Mama over here. Mama, come on. She's super stoked to be outside. Big dog. Who, me or the little one? Any of you guys see my video to President Trump and the foolishness I got to play out? You know, a lot of people don't understand that video. They don't understand that sometimes those of us who serve the Almighty have to play the fool, even if it comes to no end. Sometimes it's a test for our willingness to humble ourselves You know, I just saw somebody talking about the farmers. Man, the farmers are getting screwed in this country right now. And these predator corporations that want to go open up all these solar farms and destroy our farmland and take over green lands. And like right now, California is supposed to be such a green state, and yet California, they want to destroy all of this old growth oaks and stuff and literally like use dynamite and blow this stuff up so they can come in and put a damn solar field. Like there isn't enough parking lots and malls and commercial buildings to put up a solar field. Really? You need to do it on Greenland? It's such bullshit. This New World Order stuff is such bullshit, man. Like literally, they talk about being green, and then you've got like Taylor Swift using some 80,000 gallons of fuel to fly around the world in 1 year. Like 80,000 gallons of fuel. This hypocrisy is, it's, you know, people might be offended. They, you know, because yes, I'm a Nazir. Yes, I'm a man seeking righteousness. But don't be confused. If I say the word bullshit, what is bullshit? It's like waste, right? It's excrement. It's the stuff that the body can't use and gets rid of. So don't get caught up on the appearance of a word. I'm not being profane. I'm speaking truth. And I was talking about earlier how those who serve, sometimes we have to serve foolishly. Like, you know, the prophet Isaiah was told, Yeshayahu was told to walk naked for like 3 years. Hello. I see Dimaku 711. Hello, where are you? Where in the world are you? Carmen San Diego. That used to be an old game. You guys aren't probably as old as I am. 52. I earned these whites. We got the path now. Now we're up in the reserve. It's beautiful. See, you got a little sun left today. Yeah. So I see George Allen 6802. Where are you at, George Allen 6802? Talking a little bit about some of the hypocrisy that's going on in this country right now. You know, they don't want to release these Jeffrey Epstein lists. You want to know why? Texas. Yeah, man. I hear Texas is about, you know, what do they say about Texas? Something queers and steers. There's a lot of good men down in Texas. I've been to Lukenbach, Texas. I've been there. Not much there, but it's cool. A friend of mine, Curtis Knight. What's up, Curtis Knight? Where are you at? I got a Texas, I got Ohio. Nobody else wants to say where they're at. By the way, I only got one good eye, so it's a little challenging to multitask. I got the coffee, I got the ice, I got the phone. California, hey, trying to get back to California myself right now. I gotta deal with this weather and get my trailer and my truck up the hill, which it's a steep hill. But I live in California myself. I'm in LA County. Live up in the Santa Monica Mountains. California, man, we got problems in California. The biggest one is called Gavin Newsom. Whew, what a freaking money puppet. Oh yeah, George, you know Lukenbach, you been there too, man? I had the fortune, check this out. I had the opportunity, the blessing, back when even before I got out of high school, I had a chance to be part of a swim team called Athletes in Action, and one of my teammates, his name was Kit Patterson. He used to swim for UT, University of Texas. Go Longhorns! And his grandfather is actually Hondo Patterson. The guy, I think they have like a little plaque and like, what do they call it? A bust, like of his head out in, see Curtis. Curtis, you work in LA County. Okay, man. I was born on the right coast, but I live on the left coast. Right now, I'm just out here in New York dealing with this cold, but hope to be back to LA soon. What do you have for dinner? I haven't had dinner yet, but I tell you, for lunch, I had a couple of kosher hot dogs, even though they're not really good food. I had some in the fridge, so I had some kosher Hebrew national hot dogs. I've got an avocado set apart for dinner, and I don't know what else I'll have with it. Maybe some kosher sharp cheese. Yeah, isn't that cool? Hondo Patterson. Yeah, I've had a chance to see a little bit of the world. I've only been outside the United States one time. That was to the Dominican Republic, and that was beautiful, really beautiful. The water down there is like, it's so clear. It's like this baby blue. But man, they have a ton of sea urchins. I surfed with these like crazy croc things, and sea urchins were so bad, they even went through the bottom of the crocs, and those things are painful. Fortunately, I didn't get much of the spine in my toes, but I got like 2 or 3 punctures from those things. Man, they hurt. Okay, somebody said Merry Christmas. I don't do Christmas. Christmas is pagan. Christmas is pagan, man. Christmas is, it's a rebranded version of Saturnalia. It goes way back to the Greeks. You know, it's also connected to the winter solstice, which is the shortest day of light of the year. So, no, man. Messiah was born in September. September 11th is what they say, from all the astronomical evidence of the stars and everything. And so it's kind of wild, you know, that's the day that 9/11 happened. And I'm actually a 9/11 survivor. I worked for I gotta open up my jacket, getting warm. I used to work for a company called Westfield America. And we had a temporary office. Our permanent office was under construction at the time of 9/11. We lost Bruce Eagleson, our regional executive vice president. Rest in peace, Bruce. But we had a temporary office in Tower 2, floor 17. Germany. I have a good friend that I've known all my life that lives in Germany, and I should know where he lives, but I don't really know I don't think I know any German language. Teach me something in German. How do I say hello in German? That's basic. I should know how to say hello in German. Andrea Mueller. You still there? How do I say hello in German? I think I can say "Sprechen Sie Deutsch." So I think I know how to say at least that much, but I don't speak in Deutsch. Hello. Oh, that's easy. All right, teach me something else. What's another good basic word I should know in German? Probably like, where's the bathroom? Or where do you get good coffee? Hello, that's easy. It's amazing how much connectivity there is in the European languages. I mean, obviously they have a lot of Latin influence. There's actually a lot of Hebrew influence in English. I mean, the alphabet literally is both Greek and English. Use that from Hebrew, Aleph, Beth. Schnitzel. Schnitzel, is schnitzel a specific kind of meat? Like, or is it a way that you prepare meat? Like, can you have chicken schnitzel and beef schnitzel, or is schnitzel sausage? What is schnitzel? Look at this, by the way. Look at the beauty. There's Mama. I just realized my boots match her little jacket. Isn't this pretty, guys? Anyway, what kind of meat is schnitzel? Is that a style of meat? Like, I know sausage is generic, right? You can make chicken sausage or turkey sausage or beef sausage or mixed meat sausage. Okay, so schnitzel is a breaded piece of meat. That sounds really good. I could go for a breaded piece of meat right now. Thanks for teaching me something in German. Got a lot of kind of animal tracks here. Looks like there's a little raccoon trail. All right, so I see I got 14 people. Anybody else want to shout out where they are? Where are you at? I'll give you a shout out. Shout out, that's so funny. We used to do that on the radio. I used to DJ college radio called 92 WICB, 91.7 FM, Ithaca, New York. I used to do jazz impressions at 10 o'clock on Sunday nights. And when I was lucky, I would do fill-in for Reggae Explosions, 10 a.m. on Thursdays on 92 WICB, Reggae Explosions. Personally, I think the nature is a lot more exciting than me. This is just beautiful. We usually walk a couple loops. Somebody asked me, okay, Andrea asked me, where am I? What am I doing? I'm going for a walk with my dog. This is my dog, my dad's dog who passed away. Left me little mama. And we're just going for a walk here on Cayuga Lake, which is in central New York. We're walking on this reserve. This really nice guy who lives down there named Barry, he donated like all of this land for it to be a reserve, nature preserve and reserve. And there's a trail here that's like a 15 to 20 minute walk. All right, George, peace be with you as well. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, man, I hope you get back to Lukenbach soon. It's a cool place. So when I was in Lukenbach, I mean, it was back in like 1992. And at the time, what I remember being there, they had like a men's room and a women's room and this dance hall, like a covered dance floor. And then there was the old post office, which was like converted to a gift shop. And it had, I think it had like a little saloon in the back, like you could get some beers in the back, probably necessary for all the bikers that roll through. I got coffee in my beard, or my mustache. You always got some treats for later with a beard like this. It's pretty crazy. So when I did my video to President Trump the other day, I had snot coming out my like right nostril. It was like I had a full-on booger. So embarrassing. And then I had snot dripping down my face. Yeah, that was fun. Gotta try not to wipe out here. It's a little slippery. Yeah, I'm definitely, oh, look at Mama up here on the little tree. She loves it, man. She just loves this. You crazy girl. You crazy Mama. I tell her all the time, you're not a dog, you're a monkey. Adios, amigo. Look at her, walking down the tree. She loves it. She's right in her glory right now. Right in her glory. All right, I'm getting down to the stretch where last time I walked through here and I was on the phone doing a video, I wiped out, spilled most of my coffee, but I kept my phone and my coffee cup in my hand and I didn't really get hurt, so that was cool. So I'm a little concerned about tomorrow because I've had 1211 pop up in two like unique circumstances, conversations that really popped up to me. And these G-boys, these Freemasons, and you know, by the way, there are some Freemasons at the lower level, they don't realize like what the whole organization is about. Some of those guys are actually in it for the brotherhood. Some of those guys are actually in it to learn And I realize that. So when I speak the way I do, like I don't mean to speak against everybody, but when they make a vow like they do, they should kind of know that that's not a good thing, because you're swearing allegiance, and you don't know fully what you're swearing allegiance to, and that's dangerous. Messiah actually says, let your answers be no or yes, but don't make covenants, apart from the covenant with Yah. So, what was I saying about, 12:11. They like numbers, right? They'll use a lot of numbers, and you'll hear a lot of times in the news when something bad happens, you'll hear 33. Well, tomorrow's 12:11, and 12 plus 11 equals 33. So kind of watching that with one eye open, like that Metallica song, Sleep with One Eye Open. Yeah, I'm down with celebrating the coming of light. That's worth celebrating, right? The light starts to increase and the darkness starts to decrease, and that's a powerful spiritual principle that even, people that I would call quote unquote pagan would still recognize that. And I would say, this might surprise some people, but I would say that there are some people who are pagans who demonstrate more of the heart of the Creator than some of these religious people who are in churches, So, got my hair stuck, my head stuck. I want to be clear, when I communicate it, I try to speak with an even scale. In the Proverbs, it says that an uneven scale, which is inferring injustice or a double standard, even double-mindedness, that this is called an abomination to the Almighty. Got some deer tracks, the old deer trail through here. So what I was saying was, even if people are pagan, some pagans are better people than some Christians. And some pagans are better people than some quote-unquote Jews. So, the ideology that we grow up in and learn and accept, a lot of that can come from distortion. It can come from falsehood that we've accepted that sounds good or sounds reasonable, and then that distortion starts to influence all of our whole reality. So this is why it's hard for a person that's under a spirit of delusion to ever come out of it, because they think they're right. And it's something that we all have to be careful about, because you can think that you're right, but Proverbs says there's a way that seems right to a man, but it leads to death. I had to take my hat off. My head's getting itchy because I'm warming up from walking, and it actually is pretty mild out today. Hopefully I won't lose my hat. Yeah, so Proverbs says there's a way that seems right to a man. This could also apply to a woman, obviously. And it says that it leads to death. And when I was pursuing shamanism, that's one of the things that, quote unquote, scared the hell out of me. Because I realized after I got touched by the devil, so to speak, I realized that, if evil like that is real, then there's got to be good like that that's real. And evil, it says that the evil one, the fallen one, he presents himself as an angel of light. So he comes as the light bringer. He comes as the illuminator, right? But he's the tree of knowledge of good and evil, in the sense that he is going to twist things, distort things. He'll take something that sounds true, but he'll distort it in a way that it just twists it a little bit. And in that little twisting, it's like taking a glass of pure water and just putting one tiny drop of poison in it. Once that water is poisoned, it's poisoned. You know, you need to go get a new cup of water. If you take just even a glass of pure water with one drop of poison, and you take a drop of that water and go put it in a pure cup of water, that's defiled too. So when you got poison in your water, you got to empty it all out. And you have to empty it all out, and you got to fill it up with new water. And that's the picture of being born again, so to speak. You got to empty out all the garbage. You got to die to the falsehood, and then you have to be reborn. You have to have a new. You got to fill up with new water, right? So a lot of people don't understand spiritual language. And this is one of the problems today. Unfortunately, there's just not a lot of people that can speak to us and speak and give us discernment on spiritual language. Like, a lot of people think that Jesus is the Father because he said, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. But when he ascended, he said, I go to my Elohim, I go to your Elohim, I go to my Father, I go to your Father. So what's he doing? What's he saying? He's telling us that he's the same as us. And he's not the same as us in the sense that he was blameless, where we have all sinned and fallen short. He was blameless. That's why he's called the Lamb, like the pure Lamb, because he was blameless. But we have to, for us to be as him, so he came to us as the Father, like the image, the perfect image of the Father, not the Father himself. And this is what people get twisted. Probably lose a lot of people because everybody's so set in their beliefs. But in Malachi, he says, I will send Eliyahu to restore the hearts of children to their father, or their fathers. Okay? That happens before Messiah comes back. That's happening right now, even as we speak. So the way the Eliyahu works is he has to shatter the mirrors that are distorted mirrors, right? He has to shatter what's false. You have to tear down the part of the house that has no foundation. Then you have to fix the foundation, and then you rebuild the house. And that's happening right now. It's been happening for a while. It started happening with people waking up to the real name. You know, and the real name is hidden, but there's a door. And the door in Hebrew is a daleth. In the ancient Hebrew, it's a triangle. And so check this out. If you remove that door from the word Yehuda, and you put the door in front of it or behind it as a separate letter, and you say it without the D, Yehuda, Yahuwah. Oh gosh, it's so hard to say the sacred name. Yeah, I don't care about religions either, so try to hear even though I'm talking about Christianity and Judaism, what I'm talking about is something deeper than that. It's truth, right? Truth is the thing that we can all share in common. And truth isn't owned by any religion. It just is what it is. It's called the house of truth. Yes, and we can be effectively, I don't know if I would use the word a good person, because good is You know, when the Messiah said, you know, so this rich person came to him, he said, good teacher. He said, why do you, there's only one that's good, that's Elohim. So what he's saying is that the goodness that was in him, he was saying it came from somebody else. It comes from our Father. And the Father is him, male and female. It's this concept of a man and a woman as one. So yeah, I agree. You can be, I would say the right word, or I take that back. Not the right word, but the word that I would use, or the word I would offer is a righteous person. And there's a word in there, right. So what that implies to me is you live right. You honor things that generally, well, even more than generally, you honor what's good, things that promote life, right? Not death. Hey, you get back here. Don't you go up by the road. Good girl. So, Mama, come. Little booger. So yeah, I agree. You know, religion, in my view, you know, that word never appears in the Bible. The word religion. The Almighty calls it instructions. And then some of the things he calls commands, customs, statutes, his voice. But there's actually no word for religion there. And the way I see it is that the instructions are like a love note from a father who kind of like went to work and left us home alone. And left us home alone, but left us with instructions so that like we know how to take care of the house until he comes back, so to speak. Somebody said, give my regards to Sergei Evganyevich Posad, especially to Pavel Panav. I don't know who this is. Can you tell me who this is? Also, I would like to give a shout out to Enoch Burke in Ireland, who's been jailed technically for contempt of court. So they're kind of like playing around with words. So the real issue is that he refused to call a boy a girl. And I do think that's wrong. And the state trying to impose language that's actually false is, to me, way out of the jurisdiction of the state. But right now, Enoch Burke has been in prison technically for contempt of court, but ultimately because he refused to call a boy a girl in school. And so because of that, I think what happened was that he was like kicked out of school or something, or told not to do it. And because he came back, I think that's maybe why they arrested him. I'm not really sure. I'm not really hearing a lot about it. But who is this Pavel Panav? Who is this person that you're asking me to give a shout out to? Did that person just come and drop that and leave, or what? It looks like either Russian or Ukrainian. I don't speak Russian or Ukrainian, so I lost everybody apparently. That's okay. Mama! Mama! Come on! So I was kind of touching on my video to President Trump, and yes, I think it's unlikely that he will actually see my video, but that's really not the point. The point is that we all have to teshuvah. The point is that we all have to turn away from falsehood. And the only way we can really do that, the only way we can really change our life is we have to, just like I was talking about earlier, if you have a glass of water that has been polluted, you got to dump that out. You can't just keep pouring clean water into it. You got to dump out what's been polluted, and you have to fill it up with fresh, pure water. And so the message that I was ultimately the deeper message of my appeal to President Trump was, okay, it's obvious that you've got things in your past that are not right. It's also, I think, pretty obvious at this point that the government of Israel is pulling the strings, and that Epstein was probably an intelligence asset of Israel. A lot of people don't want to say that. I mean, this guy, I saw this one guy on X saying that nothing that Israel has never done anything wrong, that they've only done good, that Israel is only good. And if that's possible, if that's the case, how come like Tel Aviv has the gay capital of the world, and the Torah says that that's an abomination? Also, the Torah says one law for the natural born, the citizen, and also for the sojourner. So that means one law for Israelis and one law for Palestinians. So that's just what the Torah says. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot me for saying what the Torah says. I'm just saying that what the Torah says. And if you go to the UN and you say that this is our land because of the covenant with Abraham, and then you go into that land and you ignore the covenant of Abraham, which includes the law of Moses, says you're going to bring judgment on yourself, and the world effectively is going to pay the price for that too. So yes, I did do a video for Mr. Trump. It's the last video that I made, and a lot of people won't understand it because I'm emotional and I'm not like fully myself. But that's what happens when we are doing something under like what's called the weight of the Spirit. People don't understand this if they've never experienced it. But if you're like a true servant of the Almighty, then the Spirit of truth, what's called the set apart, some people call it the Holy Spirit. One of the reasons why some of us are in solitude or in isolation or in a form of separation from the world is because the world influences you. The world has a tendency to taint you. So like, for example, when I'm spending my time out here alone in nature, I'm not being influenced by my friends. You know, when I went to college, I had never seen a porn video before. And one day I was in a dorm room with a couple of friends, and they started playing this porn video. And I was like, I had never seen anything like that in my life. And I was 19. And I knew it was wrong, wasn't good. I knew I'd be embarrassed like to watch that in front of my mom or something. But I was there with two other guys. And it was like, it's kind of like, it's this weird human thing about curiosity. And it's kind of like humans can be really messed up. It's like when we see a car accident, it's like we want to like, oh, what happened? Like what happened? And sometimes what happened isn't good, like something you don't want to see. But I remember, what my point is like hanging around with people in college. Then I started drinking. Then I started getting drunk. Then I started doing stuff that that was not, like, honestly, it was unholy. It wasn't good. And that's how, like, when we're with people, the people that we're with can influence us. So what my point is that sometimes when a man or a woman is wanting to shift their life into a more spiritually balanced or even it might even be imbalanced. You might want to be all pursuing the spiritual and not have any like physical. Some people are like nuns or monks and they don't even, have a wife. It depends on the person, but the point is that the purpose of the separation is that you don't. It's like there was a saying that if you go into a tannery, which is a place that smells because there's a lot of dead skins and stuff, that if you even walk in, you're going to walk out and you're going to smell like the place, okay? So that's a point. And the point is that what we are around can influence us, can affect us. Okay, so Andrea said, me neither until I was 19. When you say me neither, what are you talking about? Like drinking or pornography? What was it that you were referring to? Because I said a couple things. I don't know what the lag is between here and Germany, but kind of trying to wait to hear what she was talking about. Take it, Mama. She loves being out here. This is actually so much more mild than it's been. It's been so cold. Andrea, if you were there still, can you tell me what it was that you said me neither until you were 19? I see there's two people on, so I'm assuming one might be Andrea. Who's the other person? Where are you at? Are people being shy? Or is it lag? I'm actually pretty warmed up right now. I have my jacket open and had to take my hat off. Oh, I lost the second person, so I don't know. Anyway. This way. Come on. Let's walk back. Come on. Just one person. I'll share some of the nature with you. Rocks are a little sketchy. So anyway, for those people that are not familiar with biblical prophecy, let me tell you what it says is going to happen right now. What it says is going to happen in the end times. Okay? It says that effectively the whole world is going to come against Israel. Okay? It says the whole world, all the different nations are going to come against Israel. Why? See, a lot of people in Israel don't realize this because they don't read the rest of the Bible because their rabbis tell them not to. So they don't understand what's happening and why. Okay, I've got nobody, but I'm going to just go ahead and share this anyway for anybody that might see the video. I'm going to explain, and I'll say this specifically to my brother Yehuda, my Yahudim brothers. Okay, so because my Yahudim brothers listen to bad shepherds, rabbis that have distorted the truth, like putting a curse on you if you read the New Testament, stuff like this, okay? Davarim 4:2 says to not add to or take away from the Torah. What's happened is that effectively the whole idea or religion called Christianity has taken away from the Bible, okay? They say that the law doesn't apply. They say that this guy Jesus, which is not his real name, that he came and he fulfilled the law, so it's all over with, and we're not under the law. But that's actually exactly opposite of what he said. So if you open up a Bible and you turn to Matthew chapter 5, and you look at verses 13 through 20, in that section, look at, here's these hunters, like I mentioned earlier, leaving their shells, just leaving them here on the ground. These assholes don't even bother picking up their shells. I'm gonna pick them up myself because this is bullshit. I know that maybe I shouldn't use that language and just say these inconsiderate people, but he left, look, he left like 10 shells here. Even, look at this, all these shells just left here on the ground. Look at them all. I'll count them up when I get home. I'm gonna make a sign and put it near the parking zone to pick up your shells. And don't leave them in the nature. I just picked up probably 12 shotgun shells from these duck hunters that were down here this morning. And they're so inconsiderate, they just leave it here on the beach. Okay, so getting back to Judaism and Christianity. Christianity has taken away from the law. Okay, they've diminished it. That's like going to the left. Judaism has added to it, okay? Like, for example, they tell you that you have to have a kippah, and that you're supposed to daven, and you're supposed to come together, you know, like at least 3 times a day with 10 other men. You have to have a minyan, and you have to do, you need to do this 3 times a day. But it never says that in the Torah. Never. And then what they'll say is, oh, well, it's in the oral Torah, it's in the oral tradition. And that, well, interestingly enough, that the Torah itself never mentions the oral Torah one time, not once. Not in the Torah, not in the prophets, and not in the writings. Never mentioned. Okay? So you've got these 2 religions. One goes to the left, one goes to the right. And we're told to walk straight before the Almighty. It says in Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 through 8, it tells us that we need to honor him in all of our ways, and he will direct our path and make it straight. So what's happening in the world right now is you have Israel, the secular government of Israel, claiming that they have a right to this land through the covenant of Abraham, right? That's exactly what they said in their testimony before the United Nations. They read it right out of the Bible. They said, we're children of Abraham. This is our land, right? Give us our land. So then Britain went and effectively made a state. A state, is a state a nation? No. State is not a nation. A state is established by somebody else's authority. So Israel, the state of Israel, is established under the authority of Great Britain, not of Yahuwah Elohim. So it's a false version of the real kingdom of Israel. And what's happening is because you have these men and women who are running a secular government in Israel, okay, that's not being properly run. The way that the government should be run is until we have our king established, that we have what's called the Sanhedrin. And that Sanhedrin is supposed to be made up of, I believe it's 70, I could be wrong on the exact number, it's 70 or 71 or 72 elders, okay? And these elders are supposed to come together with the Torah, not with halakha, okay? Not with halakha, but with Torah. And look at the Torah for the answers. If you don't look at Torah and you go to halakha, you're going to be resting on the opinions of other men. That is an error, okay? that is going to leave you to more problems, because then you're not relying on the actual instructions of Yah. You're relying on the opinions of other men who are faulty and who have had limited understanding, and they get together and they have conversations like, well, it's got to be a woman that decides if you're Jewish or not, because if you know, a woman could sleep with many different men and you don't know who the father is. Well, do you realize that if a woman is sleeping with many different men, she's a whore, she's a harlot, and women of Israel are not supposed to be harlots anyway? So that's like a total like hypothetical created by the understanding of men and their mind, okay, not from a place of what's called the Holy Spirit or the Ruach Kadash. It's always been the father that determines the child, because the father is the one that plants the seed in the ground, and it's the seed that determines if a plant is an apple tree or an orange tree, or if it's a grapevine, or if it's a sycamore, or if it's a redwood. It's always the seed. It's not the soil. It's obvious. Mama! Mama! Calling my dog. Sounds funny because her name's Little Mama. So what's happening in Israel right now, I'm going to wind this down because I've been talking for like almost an hour. Andrea was back and then she's gone. So what the prophecy is in the Bible about Israel is, it says the whole world's going to come against Israel, and that effectively 2/3 of Israel is going to be completely and utterly destroyed. All right, well, what's 2/3? 2/3 of something is 2 divided by 3, or 3 divided into 2, which is 0.666. Hello? It's a double portion. If there's 2 sons and one son gets a double portion and one gets a single portion, one gets 1/3 and one gets 2/3. It's basic math. So what's going to happen in Israel, unless there's teshuvah, which Netanyahu I don't think is going to resign. If he resigns and establishes the committee of elders, the Sanhedrin, to rule the land based on Torah, and they probably wouldn't do that even if they got reestablished. They would do it with Torah and halacha, opinions of men. So they would do as much damage as Netanyahu is doing. So what Netanyahu is doing is, because of all the corruption, because Israel has accepted this belief system based on the Frankian theory that you can bring back Messiah with good or evil, and so they think that any means is a good means for the results that they want to have for their country. So that's why they'll use somebody like Jeffrey Epstein to get people involved in pedophilia and all kinds of debauchery, and then they'll blackmail them to control them. And so effectively what's being revealed right now is how Israel has used sex and blackmail and money to effectively control the US government to do what it wants. And that all of these congressmen, for the most part, all these representatives that are supposed to be representing we the people, they've been bought out by Israel and or are being controlled by Israel. And so this is a problem. And for people that want to think that I'm anti-Semite, hello, my name is AVAD-YHUH. I'm a Nazir. I'm one of a very small handful of men in the world, probably less than 10 real ones, that are called Nazir. And that's a sacred vow that we make to separate ourselves from alcohol, from wine, from cutting our hair, and from the dead. These are the 3 requirements of the Nazir. Not to have any part of the grapevine, the plant the vine, the seed, okay? That's what it says. And so I love Israel. I love the people of Israel, and I serve the Elohim of Israel, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Yitzhak, the Elohim of Yaakov, who after 3 generations received a new name, Yisrael. And what's amazing is that all 3, Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, received new names. That's amazing. A lot of people don't know that. In fact, I did not even know that myself until this week. I knew that Abraham had received a new name. He got a letter Hey added to his name when Sarah lost her Yud and got a Hey. So collectively, they both gained a Hey, which is equal to 2 Heys is 5, that's 10. And the Yud, which is 10, was removed from Sarah's name. And then Yitzhak became Ishahak. His Sadi was replaced with a Sheen. And then Yaakov became Yisrael. So all 3 of them had a name change. A lot of people don't know this. So the prophecy, and specifically I think it's in Zephaniah, it says that 2/3 of all of Israel, Jerusalem, is going to be destroyed. The 1/3 that remains in Jerusalem will be called holy forever. And then after this judgment is brought onto Israel for its lawlessness, it says that the Almighty is going to judge the rest of the world. And we're going to have what's called the second baptism, the baptism of fire. Whereas the first baptism was of water on the earth, the second is of fire. So it's a very serious matter. And the matter of my video to President Trump was the matter of what's called teshuvah. It's the same message that every prophet has ever given. Every prophet, every servant. And I'm not calling myself a prophet, I'm calling myself a servant. A servant of Yahuwah and a servant of Am Yisrael, the people. Okay, and so that message has always been the same. Turn, repent, confess your sin, confess your lawlessness, confess your evil, and turn from it. Okay? Confess it and turn from it. That has always been the way. It's the same message of every prophet. It's the same message of Messiah. It's my message as well. We have to confess our lawlessness, turn from it, and serve the Almighty and serve each other in love and truth. It's the only way. It's the only way. And you know what? People don't want to receive this message because people love their sin. People love their bacon. I need my bacon. I need my pornography. I need my beautiful, huge house that shows everybody that I make so much money, and I don't care if my neighbor is struggling down the street. You know, that's garbage. That's death. When you don't love another person, when you don't love your neighbor that's also made in the image of the Almighty, you can't say you love the Almighty. That's the truth. That's the reality. If you don't love your brother, there's no way you can love the Father or the Almighty One. So the best way to love the Almighty One is to love your brother. Masha, people who know him as Moses, said you don't need someone to go to the heights of the earth, the heights of heavens, the depth of the seas to reveal all these mysteries to you. Sorry, you're a Ha'ari. No, that's not what's needed. What's needed is love your brother. And that's a very simple thing to do. It's a very simple thing to do. It's a very straightforward thing to do. And it removes all the ego from all these people that want to lift themselves up and say, oh, look at me, I'm special, I know all these secrets, look at me, I saw this dark cloud full of eyes, and I bowed before it. That doesn't sound a good thing to me at all. That doesn't sound like that's from something from heaven at all, sorry. But what is from heaven is loving your brother. Loving one another, that's from heaven, always will be. And anybody can do that. Love and respect, always. I don't even know how to end this thing. How do I end? I guess I just have to click out. All right, clicking out. Shama Yisrael, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah Echad, Echavat Etha, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Bakal Labavak, Uvakal Nefeshak, Uvakal Medak. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.